Okay, nice. This was from last time. I hope you all remember what we looked at. A game between two not that famous players, but it was highly interesting from the Azerbaijan Championship, I think it was. And this was one of the positions that we looked at. I'll just quiz you for one move here, all right? I'll just quiz you for one move just to see if you're all awake, all right? Oh, it's your birthday. Yeah. Happy birthday to Kind King Sam. Aha. And Can King Sam is one of the winners here, alongside JM Chess, Gordon, Sui Random Chess Art, L008, Mexico Real, RKDK, Benjamin, and so on. Aha. A lot of people got it right. This is what we looked at last time. It was very important to work on the queen side. That's where we are deciding these games in this series. So, JM Chess, please go ahead. What was the strong move here by White? Actually, it wasn't the first time that the knight used this square in this game. It's very important to go there so that we are controlling this square also. We could have gone, of course, the other side to the other side, but maybe, just maybe, black has some additional option. Actually, it looks terrible anyway for black, so uh, maybe this should also win. But knight a7 is nicer because after rook takes e1, we have rook takes e1, and we are threatening rook c8, right? So very nice. Something like that happened in the game, and black had a difficult time. So this time today, I would like to bring up another game which I thought was very interesting on this topic about attacking on the queen side, and this is Indian Grandmaster Sethuraman with the white pieces. He is facing an offbeat variation in the French, in the advanced French. His opponent is, I think, Norwegian player Hobber, and this is what the game looks like. Let's see if I can get this right. Um, so, yeah, that's the game. Sethuraman versus Hobber in the Fagerness Grandmaster tournament last year. It's an advanced French. We saw so far in our first game, we saw this game by Sashi Kiran where he played, if you remember, he played Karo Khan advanced variation, right? That's what we looked at with 92. That was the game with Sasi Kiran, and he had some queenside initiative. Later on, we saw the game from the Alekhines defense, right? That's what we looked at last time. We looked at the Alekhines defense, and they played something like this, if you remember, and they played d4. And yeah, there was later on some. Honestly, I don't really remember how the opening was, but it was something like this. I hope you guys remember it better than I do. It was something like this, and later on, White started some attack on the queen side, right? A4, something like that. Yeah, something like that. And then in this game, I would like to show you something about the French, right? So, okay, what are you saying in the chat? I played him and lost. Oh, but that's another Sethuraman, I think. Or is it the same? Or maybe it's the same. Yeah, but this is a strong grandmaster in any case. So they play the French, and I think that the advanced French, one of the reasons why it became popular, I don't know if I'm completely correct in this, but I think this Gambit has become an interesting weapon for White. They're starting to play this Gambit. When I was a kid, there would be this Gambit where you would take, and then you would just castle away, and they would take on the fourth, something like that. But nowadays they play it in a different way. This is what they would play when I was a kid. But nowadays they play it in a different way. They just castle here instead, and they wait for black to take. So we had a game like that. We checked a game like this a long time ago, where also White decided the game on the queen side. I think this is the reason why. Oh, it's called Milner-Barry. Thanks, I like kebabs. I didn't know that. So that's an interesting opening. I think usually black is reluctant to take here. They usually play something like that instead. White can play rook e1, and I have seen also something with h4, h5, like useful moves. Black can also play some useful movement. It's like a cat and mouse game here. None of the players really want to take on d4 or on c3. But I think that's the reason why they started to play the advanced French more than before. So many ways for black, if you play the French, that you can sidestep this variation. One way to sidestep it would be to play, for example, without knight c6. You could play this variation. Perhaps you have seen it. You go for bishop e5. But it's not completely clear that black equalizes, but you could play something like that. Like if they play bishop d3, you could take and play bishop e5 and so on. But sometimes white can also take with a knight, right, on d4. and then you're at least fighting against this plan and so on. And another way to avoid this, you can play knight c6, and then you can play bishop d7. So I think even this, they play, for example, bishop d3, and you can play knight e7, and you can put the knight here or the knight there, things like that. They became popular because people didn't want to enter the Milner-Barry Gambit anyway, right? So yeah, many choices for black, and in this game, the grandmaster has to face another of these sidelines, because here black played, at least for me, the very surprising move knight e7. Very surprising to me, but I actually checked this because I became curious, and I think I know the point of it. Yeah, strange move, right? Strange move, Sarthak. So c3 is what happened in the game. Black played c5, knight f3, and if this was surprising for you, look at the next move here. Yeah, he played knight e6. So let's see who is the most clever here. Why did they play like that? What is black having in mind? Why do they bring that knight to c6? What's the deep thought behind this move, knight c6? To go knight e7 and attack e5 with the other knight. Yeah, but if you would do that, it would be strange, like a Taras defense, right? Strange Taras. When you play the Taras, sorry guys, just so that everybody understands. When you play the Taras, you put this knight here and you get this knight there. No, this is one way to play the Taras. And then at some point you will play knight c6. You get it like that. But black doesn't really like this. I mean, if you compare the Taras with the advanced French, you would say that this knight is misplaced on d7, which explains why very often black tries to play f6 as soon as possible. This knight is just in the way. While if you play the advanced French, you don't have this problem because the knight could go this way, right? But that doesn't seem to be the case, because in this game they played knight c6 instead. So it's not because they want to play knight e7. That would just be like a bad Taras. No reason for them to play that, because white has not misplaced their knight, right? Knight a6. Yeah, ugly Taras, exactly. Kevas. Yeah, Ryan, you got it. So Ryan is our first winner here, I think. Yeah, Mecha Mortis said knight a6, intending knight c7, but that seems also very, what can I say, artificial. So yeah, you're right, Ryan. b6. That's exactly what they want to play here. They want to play with. They want to trade off the bishop on a6. I could not think of many variations where you do this in the French. I can think of maybe one or two. You have it in some variations. I remember Petrosian. Petrosian used to play the French also. He would have one variation in the Taras where he would do it, right? Petrosian has this line in the Taras. He played like this, and here he plays b6, intending bishop a6. But it's supposed to be a little dubious, no? White gets some attacking chances on the king side. I think somebody said knight h3 was an interesting move here, so that you can bring the queen quickly to g4 and knight f4 or something like that. There is another case where you can also do it. I think it's in the knight c6 line, like this. Here, I don't know if you have seen this variation, when they play here bishop e5. Anyone, what does black play here? Oh, this happens in the London. All right, Tactical Magician. I believe. Yeah, I believe you. That can happen in London also. Trade off the bishops. Sui Random says knight b4. Yeah, maybe you can play that also. Exactly, Tactical. That's the move that I have seen. Knight cb8, or I think even knight db8, which looks insane. Why on earth should black travel like that? Well, because they're actually intending to trade off the bishop. Something like that. I think it's like that. Yeah, we are digressing a little. Yeah, I will come to the point. So one last case, by the way. One last case. Also in the Winawer, you have this, of course. You can play b6 and bishop a6. Or you can play first queen d7, and then you can go for this. So I'm just telling you, it's not like the best plan of all, but it exists in many different French lines. You can have it here also, right? In this line. If you play like this, later you might get a chance to play bishop a6. Anyway, we will now go to the game, because we want to see the attacking play, right? We want to see how they attacked on the queen side, and that's what will happen in the game. So black played their move b6. There were different ways to play here, but in our game, they simply played the move castles, which is a very logical move. We speed up development and we let them carry out their plan. If you really want to avoid their plan, you could try to play queen e2. When I investigated this line, I saw that this had also been played. Let's see if I can find it here, queen e2. However, black in that case could take, And anyone, what do you think Black would play here next? Yeah, maybe a5, but even more like RKDK chess is saying in South like knight b4. That's probably what they would play here. In this case, we unfortunately lose our attacking bishop. We could play like that, but they could play bishop d7. So this has been played also, I think. Bishop takes, queen takes, knight c3. Looks a little like the other variation that I told you about, just that black has played b6 also. So probably white is still better here. By the way, you can also get this kind of position. Sorry if I'm digressing again, but you can also get this position in the what's the name of it? The Moscow variation or the Rosolimo. You can get it here, right? In these variations, you can play something like this, and you can get to almost exactly the same kind of game here, right? If you play something like this, it would be basically the same kind of structure. However, here black is favored by the fact that their knight is already in an active place, right? Here you have, for example, Carson Duda, right? Carson, the game that Duda wins with the black pieces. Carson played this with white, but pressed a little too hard and went on to lose in the World Cup, I think, 2 years ago or something. But anyway, so you can get to this structure in many different variations. Now back to our game. White could have played queen e2, but they didn't like the idea that black could then trade off the bishop. So Sethuraman simply castled at this point, right? So let's see what happened here. After castles, black continues with their plan. Bishop a6, bishop takes, knight takes a6. Anyone, what do you think white played here? What would you play here, guys, with the white pieces? Queen a4, exactly. L008, Gordon, Chessort, and so on. Queen a4, that's what the Grandmaster played also. Development with tempo. We are attacking them a little on the queen side. Anyone, what do you think the computer evaluation is here? What would you think? 0-0 says to random. Yeah, something like that, I think. It's not giving white a big advantage. Don't think that... I can't tell exactly how the computer is... What are its parameters to define that white is better and so on. I mean, white has a space advantage and a development advantage. But still it kind of likes black here. I can't really tell why. It's strange, no? Strange. The variation is much better than you might think. It looks very ugly, no? But not so easy for white to progress here. And I don't know, maybe the computer feels like the bishop is gone and black's bad bishop is gone. I don't know if it can think like that, like a human. Probably not. Anyway, let's continue. Maybe should I quiz you for the next move? I think so. Yeah, I'll quiz you for the next move. Just for fun, just to see what you guys would play. There is not exactly like right and wrong, but it's great to play like the Indian Grandmaster, of course, if you could do that. But it's not clear that it's the best move. So let's see what you think, guys. So far, nobody plays like the Indian Grandmaster. Now we have a few players who do that. Our birthday object today, Kind King Sam got it. Titan Chess also, Sui Random. That's right. The birthday kid got it. That's what they played here. Please go ahead, Kind King Sam. Which was your move here. Very logical, taking into account the absence of a black bishop. Exactly. C4. This is important to understand. This move can be extremely effective in these positions. Sorry if I go back to the Caro-Kann again, but I guess we talked about this very briefly, no? If you play the knight f3, in all these positions, whenever black plays c5, very often white can try to open up the game by c4. That's good to know. C4 is very typical when the bishop is outside the pawn chain, right? Or it's not there. While on the other hand, if you play the advanced French, something like that, few people would even think, this is the Caro-Kann. Yeah, if you play the advanced French, few people would consider to play c4 at this point, right? Almost everybody would play c3 instead. But in the Caro-Kann, like we were saying, the bishop can be outside the pawn chain, and in that case, it's very, very natural to try to go for c4 at some point. So that's why also in these positions, black waits a little with c5, right? They can play with knight e7 or knight e7 and things like that. If you play c5 quickly, probably white can try to punish you with c4, right? So yeah, back to business here. Let's see if I can bring up the game. Kind King Sam was explaining this, so let's go back to Kind King Sam. Let's see Kind King Sam's variation. So Did I bring up King Sam? No. Here, yeah. So, what was your move? Sorry, Sam. C4 exactly. And in the game, Black took on D4, and yeah, your next move is not very difficult, Sam. Of course, that's how the game went. By the way, it's not clear that this was the best move. You had other options here. Some people were saying B4, for example. Very interesting. I'm not sure what would happen here. May I take it maybe and just take with the bishop? But I like your way of thinking. Yeah, very dynamic. Because maybe the only problem that you let me castle now. But I guess you wanted to play something like bishop a3. Some kind of weird Benko Gambit, right? But I don't know. Maybe I can go queen e7. So yeah, interesting. B4, interesting move. Bishop e3 was also proposed. There were some other moves, but c4 is what the grandmaster played. Very logical. Try to open up the game. Another option here might be to take like this, actually. I don't know if somebody said that. Did you say that? Oh, rook 81 and c4. Okay, we'll look at that. This one is also interesting because what do you think white would play here? Anyone? How could you make black suffer a little here? Oh, b4. Maybe. I can think of another move, though. Hint, it's a long move. Think of a very long move with white here. Longer than bishop g5, I think. Yeah, Titan chess, you got it. I think this is the smartest move because they cannot castle, right? You get bishop h6 in. So, yeah, maybe queen g4 put some pressure on black also. So that was another interesting idea. So that's why I'm telling you that it's not like there is only one good move here. I like the move that he played, of course, but it's not clear it's the only move. Rook d1 was proposed by some people. Maybe I can play this move. So anyone, why do you play? Oh, you're sure queen g4 is longer than queen g4? No, I'm not sure at all. Should we measure it? Let's see. Pawn takes, bishop takes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is located at the distance of 4 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It seems much longer to me. Yeah, 6 units. I'm definitely mathematics. It's not my strongest side, but I think I got this one right. No, or geometry. Queen g4 seems to be longer. I think the only longer move is queen h4, but that's not very appropriate in this position where we're trying to open up the game and attack and so on. Yeah, queen h4, they can take on e5 after trading queens. Exactly. So rook d1 is also possible. I can't tell exactly what would happen, but I had a question for you. If queen d7, what is black doing? Maybe queen d7 is a good move? I think so. Because, yeah, you can see the threats, right? Exactly. Knight takes e5 is coming up. So that's actually what the computer was saying here also. After c4, it was actually proposing that black should play queen d7 instead. I thought that was very interesting. What did the computer say? Well, it's saying that if we take now on c5, black could actually take on e5. Which looks illogical because black is delayed in development, lagging in development, and even so they're complicating the game. But okay, these guys are also not developed. So yeah, the computer sees what we didn't see. Exactly. Titan chess saw this variation also. So queen d7 was actually a way for black to fight back, in this position. But all right, what the Norwegian player played here, it's not a big mistake. He played in the game c takes d4. By the way, bishop e7, dubious move, because in this case, anyone, what would you play with white here? Fast learners, no? You're fast learners. So what should white play here? If we are fast learners, we play queen g4. That's right, L008. I cannot castle due to bishop h6. It's good to know this trick. It appears in other French lines too. g6 I could play here. We could now continue our development. And anyone, how would you seize the initiative with white here? What about e6? All right, we will check that. Why not? Oh, interesting. Yeah, we'll look at that. Aha. Bishop h6, very interesting. Yeah, bishop h6, bring in the rook also. I think white has an interesting initiative in this position. So e6 is also interesting, of course. Bishop h6 is also possible. I guess if you play something like that, I would have to play something like this, right? But yeah, don't get me wrong. I don't like this with black, of course. I think against most of you guys, I would be doomed here with the black pieces. You would be crushing me here in some kind of crazy attack on the king side. So yeah, looks very dangerous for black. Also, e6 is interesting, of course. This can be a powerful move also. Looks unhealthy for black in general, all this. So understandable what he played in the game. He simply took on d4. And of course, white took back as King Sam noticed with a knight on d4, and black played queen d7. So, question, should we take on d5 or should we take on c6? What do you think, guys? Take on d5 or take on c6? If you can give me some kind of argument, fantastic. If you can motivate this somehow. Most people say take on d5. All right. Why take on d5 and not take on c6 then? d5 because queen takes and rook d1. Yeah, exactly, chessart. If we take on c6, we actually give black a chance to take with the queen. And they are getting closer to the trade of queens, which we're not interested in, of course. So in the game, they took like that instead. Black should already be a little careful here. There are dangers on the sky. Knight takes e5 would lose in one move, right? Let's see who is the fastest brain here. Who is the fastest thinker? RKDK Chess, you're the fastest one. I like kebab, second place. Sui Random Benjamin L008. That's great tactics. Congratulations, you found this very quickly. L008, Gordon, Tactical Magician, Patriots. Yeah. Fine. If you can find this in less than 30 seconds, excellent. Charles, Ryan, and so on. We have a long list of people who found it. There are some other candidate moves, but this is definitely the best move. Please go ahead, RK, DK, Chess. What should white play here? This pattern you must have seen in other openings. Aha, we're waiting for you, RK, DK. I think. No, oh, you don't have the mouse. Sorry, go ahead, please. Yeah, so knight b5, killing move, right? It's just over here. I don't have any chance to save myself here. This one I won't bring up. I won't go into other variations, but you have it in some openings like the Sveshnikov with 95, right? The Sveshnikov with 95. Well, I will contradict myself and I will actually bring it up. Let's see if you can help me to show this. It's always nice when you can like see one pattern and you can identify it in some other variation. So I think in this variation we can find it, right? In this variation, if I'm not mistaken. If you play here knight e7, I think it's like c4, and if you play a6, you lose the game, right? Is this correct? I think so. It's kind of the same pattern, right? It's over now. Correct me if I'm wrong. So this is what can happen if you play the line badly. Aha, so it's better to play. Of course, you can play like this, but then don't play a6. Play knight g6 instead, right? Or play knight here, and then you can probably play this move, but then you have to play like... No, this is another one, right? I don't know if... Are you familiar with this one? I think this is also bad for black. Well, I was a kid when I saw these variations. Maybe it has changed over so many years. Aha, so maybe this is not so bad anymore for black. I don't know, but it's tricky at least. Anyway, we have seen the pattern now. Something going on this side. Now back to the game. All right, back to the game. This is what we saw. Big danger for black. If they are not awake here after c takes d5, they could lose the game instantly. Knight takes e5 loses on the spot to knight b5. Any other move like queen takes d7, black would still be in the game, I would say. So nice. Knight takes c takes d5, knight takes d4. White took back on d4. Anyone, can you guess black's next move here? Not so difficult, no? Of course, RKDK. Knight c6, of course, we bring out the pieces. A little trick. This trick you can also find in many other openings. Yeah, I won't bring that up. You can find it in many openings like that. With knight c3. All right, like this, for example. Just one example. You can play like this. Knight f3, interesting move here. CD, queen takes, and here you can play it, right? You take on d4. That's one example, but there are many others. So back to the game. It's a good thing. Chessable Classroom, very powerful. We can quickly come back to the game. So knight c6. White should put their queen somewhere. Where would you put the queen, guys? On a4. But then you invite knight takes e5. No. Really? He didn't play that. but maybe it's possible. F4, exactly, Satak. He played queen f4. So at this point, I think so far the game is interesting, no big mistakes and so on. There is something in chess which we call, I mean, in chess and in life in general, which is called being pragmatic. No, pragmatic. So, anyone, what does it mean to be pragmatic? Who is good with languages here? I think this word in all languages it's the same. No, pragmatic. Probably in most languages. Greek word, I think. Panicking. No, practical. Yeah, Mecha Mortis. Exactly. Being practical. Like I'm not an expert on this, but I think more or less pragmatic. It's like you have a plan, but then you had to like adjust to reality. Something happened on the way, and you will have to adjust your plans a little. That's to be practical, be pragmatical. Oh, Tactical Magician says dealing with things sensibly and realistic in a way that is based on practical rather than theoretical considerations. Nice. Sounds like Google, like Wikipedia or something. But oh, it is. But it sounds excellent. Yeah, it sounds excellent. I thanks Magician for helping us with that definition. So I'm not saying it's a mistake what he played in the game. By now, you probably know which move I think black should play, right? Should we take with the queen or should we take with the pawn? What do you think? What would be being pragmatic here? Yeah, to take with the pawn. If you take with the queen, please understand what I'm trying to say here. You take with the queen, you keep a perfect pawn structure. Black's pawn structure is better, right? You keep perfect harmony here with this like Sicilian Alapin kind of pawn structure. However, at the same time, you're still a bit exposed. You're exposing your queen. Maybe white can play on the d file and so on. On the other hand, if you take with the pawn, it's a little more ugly because now the pawn is isolated and so on. On the other hand, it's easier for you to develop because now the queen is not exposed anymore. So you can probably play something like bishop somewhere and try to castle, something like that. Probably white is still a little better. I had a look at this knight c3 and bishop e3 was one interesting idea to bring the rook quickly to d1. Another one might be to put the queen on g3 to, yeah, you know, the same old story, something like this. Black would have to do something about that. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe they would have to play something like g6. It's still a little unpleasant, but I think it would be better than the other line, right? It might be better than the other line. Try to push d4, create counterplay. So I like Kebab says, dream scenario for black is exchanging bishop for knight, blockading the f4 square and place knight on d4. Exactly. It would be great to bring it over here, somehow trade. This is what you can get in, for example, the Rai Lopez, the open variation of the Rai Lopez, right? You can get that kind of position. I won't give an example this time, but in the open Rai Lopez, I have even seen this maneuver going that way with the knight in some positions. So you're right. Good point, Kebabs. Then make sure you have f5 coming also, so that you don't get rolled over by the f pawn. So something like that would have been a better choice. Black played in the game queen takes d5. Anyone, what do you think? Yeah, exactly. Something like taking on c3. Exactly. If you could do that. Okay, thanks for mentioning. Yeah, if you could get something like this, just to understand what Kebabs and Titan are speaking about here. If white plays some move like, let's say, bishop here, if you could at some point take and maybe here you could like bring over the knight. Well, actually, here it's not so. I think here it's too idealistic. No, it's not possible to do it because they will maybe play something like queen f3 and attack it. But you could maybe put the queen there for now. Maybe later we can try to block it with knight. But something like this is what black is looking for. But of course, white shouldn't let that happen. No, if they played bishop before, I guess we should look for something like queen, like we were saying, no, queen g3 or something to try to attack on the queen side, on the king side. So anyway, yeah, queen takes d5 happened in the game. White's next move is not difficult. Should I? I'll quiz you for the next two moves. All right, it's very very simple, but I would like to do that anyway. Let's quiz you for the third move also. Yeah, let's do that. Time to take the initiative. Don't forget that we're ahead in development and our opponent is weak on the queen side. Oh, I see. Interesting move by Benjamin, Titan, Tactical, and Gordon. Yeah, I'll play Rook c8 on that. Rook c8 coming if in that case. I see. Yeah, interesting. You can put the queen on that side. Uh huh. I understand. Maybe that's also possible. Uh huh. Bishop f4. Oh, so you were very close. L, Pikachu, Ryan, and Mecha Mortis. If you play that, I will play queen a5. All right. That goes to L, Pikachu, Ryan, and Mecha Mortis. Queen a5 or queen d4. One of those two moves. I'll have to make up my mind. But trading queens is very high on my list. We have three winners here. Yugoslavian Berserker, Sui Random, and Inari the Husky have followed in the Indian Grandmaster's footsteps. So please go ahead. Oh, we have some variations here. Yeah, you're right, Titan Chess. Aha, black can escape from the rook pin, but not from the king pin. Yeah, you're right. Good observation. Please read carefully Titan Chess comment here. That's a very good uh, summary of what might happen here. Please go ahead, Yugoslavian Berserker, which was your variation. Yeah, we will look, Kebabs. We will look at your variation. Knight c3, of course, we don't care about. If you play a move like rook e1, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know if somebody said this. Yeah, some people said that. I won't leave out any names, but that's not in the right spirit. Okay, it's not in the right spirit. We should be a little more attacking minded here. So knight c3, after all, they're having a bad development, so attack them while you can. Queen takes e5 was played by black. I don't think there is a good alternative. If you play, sorry, who was playing, by the way? Yugoslavian. Yeah, I'm just saying that maybe here I gain tempo anyway and so on. So they take something on the way. Please go ahead, Yugoslavian. Please go ahead, queen a4. Some people were saying queen f3, but I think in that case I go rook c8. That's what somebody said, right? Who said this? Titan Chess said, black can escape from the rook pin, but not from the king pin. Yeah, that's a nice way to put it. Now the rook is, the knight's unpinned, I mean, and maybe black can try to like trade queens or something later on. Still, it's an interesting idea. I'm not saying it's completely wrong or anything, but maybe like bishop f4, I could try to play queen f5, I guess. Hopefully, I could get g5 in. That would be fantastic if I could trade queens and so on. So probably it's better to go the other way. Please go ahead. Sorry, Yugoslavian, I'm interrupting you here. Yeah, queen a4, attacking the knight. Black must play rook c8, and your next move here was very opportune, knight b5. So please notice, guys, these two moves, knight c3 and queen a4, I would say that anyone can find them. No, they're not difficult to see. But the third move is difficult to see. Why? Because here you already have several choices, right? So we have, for example, bishop f4 that some people were saying, which looks extremely natural because you develop your pieces, you get ready to play rook c1 and things like that. So why didn't the grandmaster play it then, if it's so obvious? I think there are two possible explanations. One of them is queen a5. I think that's probably the best move for black. Black wins a tempo by offering the trade of queens. Next move, of course, bishop e7, and just try to castle as soon as you can, right? The other possible explanation is queen d4, but since I saw Kebab's move here, queen a6, I think it's not advisable to play queen d4. So yeah, I will definitely vote for queen a5 here. And speaking about the Kebab's move, this was the move, no, queen a6. So if the grandmaster didn't play that, that's like more difficult to understand. It looks extremely powerful, no? Rook d8 maybe, no? Rook c7, but that's an ugly place for the rook. No, we're inviting knight b5. Or did you calculate anything there, Mecha? I don't think you can do that. And also queen c8 is coming. So I think I have to play rook d8. No. So I don't know, Kebabs. What did you... oh, queen b8 says Sui Random. Well, that move has a dangerous feel to it, no? Now I think everybody will play bishop f4. Of course, Ryan. Yeah, me too. I don't like the move queen b8. You're giving me like an easy job here to bring in my pieces and so on. Let me check first, please, if I can survive with rook d8. Let me see that first. Maybe I can't, but let's see. Yeah, e5. Yeah, sure. Okay, we can go back to that. Queen b8, bishop f4, and e5. If you really think this works, well, rook e1. You have maybe bishop e7. There is a move knight e5. Well, what's going on here? Rook c1 looks like some Mikhail Tal move, but probably it's too much talent to play rook c1 here, right? Rook e1, bishop d6. Okay. So maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe queen b8 is better then. Okay. That's just concrete calculation. I see, I see. I would love to play rook c1 though. Mikhail Tal maybe would play bishop knight b5 though, no? Or maybe that's too much. Uh, yeah, it's a pity we cannot ask Mikhail Tal what he would play here. Um, what about bishop takes e5? Yeah, bishop takes e5, I take back, right? What do you have next here? I mean, I'm going to play bishop d6 and castle. Yeah, I don't believe in this. I'll play bishop d6 next turn, no matter what you play. You can play rook e1 and I'll play bishop d6, you play f4, and I just castle away. Yeah, this is heaven for black if I can get up to this, right? What if knight b5? Yeah, that's interesting. But I guess you mean knight b5 here, right? Because else, I understand bishop d6, maybe you have queen takes c8 there, or you can take immediately. Yeah, of course. But I'll play bishop e7 then. So I don't, yeah, exactly, Titan. So yeah, I don't believe in this too much. Rook c5 maybe, so that we keep everything defended. No, b4, rook d5. Yeah, who's moving, by the way? Who's playing? Yugoslavia, you're moving. Okay, nice. Yeah, I don't know. This looks very speculative, no? I'm going to castle next turn. So I think you're right, Sui Random. You're right. Queen b8. I didn't see that move. I thought he would just move the rook, but you're probably right. It's better to move away the queen. Yeah, that didn't come natural to me, but I I accept that. Yeah, I definitely do. This looks logical for black, somehow reinforcing your defenses. So nice. He didn't play that. He played the way that Yugoslavian Berserker was explaining. Queen a4 and after rook c8, he played knight b5. All right. If you played something else here, some people said, by the way, I can see now you played queen a4. If you play that, I guess I have b5, right? That's probably not correct. Or correct me if I'm wrong. I can't see this clearly. I think b5 is good. Yeah, I can see the next move here. I know something about chip tactics. I'm coming now. Knight c2 is coming also. This is not convincing for white. So I think you should play knight c3. Just let them take the pawn. After all, letting them take a pawn like that, it also helps us, right? We open up this file, we open up that diagonal and so on. So don't be too, what can I say, too worried about your little pawns. A pawn like the e5 pawn, the best thing can happen is just that it disappears, right? It will help your attack. I think that's the way to look at it. All right. So rook c8, knight b5 came in the game. What did black play here? They played a move that Sui Random was talking about. They played bishop b8. When I checked this game, I got the impression that maybe, just maybe, what black had actually prepared here was to move bishop d6. I thought maybe they prepared that. However, bishop d6 has a gigantic flaw to it. What would white play here? Anyone? Yeah, not difficult, of course. We're getting mated. Yeah, don't take that pawn, Sui. That's not a healthy pawn. Uh-huh. Yeah, some kind of distant relation between these two pawns, right? Of course, kebab. So g3, I think this might be the psychological obstacle that black faced in the game. G3 is just winning because you have bishop f4 coming for free now. Maybe that, or maybe it was something else. Too many threats, exactly. So queen b8 played in the game. Black is trying to defend everything. Okay, I have another question for you. Computer evaluation. What do you think? What do you think the computer says about this? What would Stockfish say about this position? Yeah, it's almost like equal. Aha. Yeah, I'm sorry, Titan, but it's not a winning advantage for white. It's about equal. The problem is that in order to keep equality with black, you will have to play like Stockfish. The moves are not simple, believe me. I had a look at this game, a thorough look. You have to play like Stockfish to save black here, so please don't be too, what can I say, literal. Don't take computer evaluations too literally, because some continuations are more difficult to follow than others, right? And the computer will never tell you that, hey, this is 0-0, but it's extremely hard to find the moves. It will never tell you. It will just say it's 0-0. It feels, yeah, human evaluation, exactly, kebabs. Human evaluation like +4, but computer evaluation is 0 here. It has seen a way to save black here, I think. Anyway, let's continue. So white's next move, anyone? Not difficult, no. Maybe I should quiz you for the two next moves instead. Yeah, let's do that. I'll quiz you for the next two moves in this game. But it's very simple, so here we go. Well, if you play that Yugoslavian, uh, interesting. I didn't think about that move. And or KDK, Chessort, Pikachu, you're all saying that move. Wow. What would I play in that case? Queen D6, maybe. Queen D6, I think. That's why he didn't play it. All right, Kebab, Tactical Mexico Real, Benjamin, Titan Chess. You all got it. That's what he played. Standard way of developing our initiative. We are bringing all the pieces to the attack, right? That's what we're doing. So please go ahead, Tactical Magician. What was your variation here? Please go ahead. So bishop f4 first, hitting the queen. Black played queen b7, and now oh, because you had talked so much kebabs already. That's why I brought up Tactical Magician. So rook c1. That's what happened in the game. All right. If you play, let's check the other moves briefly. Knight e4 was proposed, but I think I would play queen d6 here, right? So that I'm trying to force the trade of queens. And I have this move also in the pockets. I'm very interested. More, maybe no, maybe not actually. You have queen e6. Oh, sorry, I missed that. Oh, then it's not so clear, perhaps. So knight e4, interesting move. Yeah, I don't know what I would play against that. Should I play queen b7 and just hope that things will work out well? Bishop c5 and castles, maybe. Yeah, king d7 I don't want to play for sure. No, king d7 is banned in this position. This is not a good occasion for king moves, I think. Okay, I'm having difficulties following the. Yeah, b5 also interesting. Difficulties following the chat. So please, what about e4 after bishop f4? Yeah, we will talk about that. All right. Sorry if I'm not able to see all the messages. Bishop f4, e5, of course. This is critical, but I think you can find out yourself, Mecha Mortis, what would happen. Of course, bishop takes e5. And I cannot take either way. If I take with the queen, I lose it. And if I take with the knight, there must be some juicy double attack here, right? Yeah, like that, 96. Who's moving, by the way? Tactical Magician. All right, tactical. Is that the best move? I don't know. But it looks winning already for white. Maybe just take and continue to bring in the pieces. Yeah, queen takes e7. Oh, you want to play that now? Yeah, that's extremely beautiful. Yeah, nice move by Kebabs. Aha. Nice move. Yeah, I like it. I guess you can take like that, though. Can you? Did you look at that, Kebabs? I cannot escape. Maybe not so simple, or yes. Yeah, I think it's a blunder. Yeah, so we should not play like that. Yeah, I think sometimes beauty can also seduce us. No, it's better just to take and bring in the pieces, maybe. Yeah, black should be done here. This is not a good position for sitting with the pieces like that. All right, so back to business here. e5, definitely too early. Bishop takes e5. It's over. So let's see here what happened in the game. He played queen b7. Keep it simple. Yeah, exactly. Even if you're attacking, you could actually say that, no? So let's see if I can find the. Yeah, this is the moment I think where. Is this the moment where they lost the game? He played queen b7 and black played. Let's see if I can find the variation. Yeah, rook c1 exactly. Who said this? Tactical. Yeah, exactly. Rook c1. So here actually black. It seems black resigned at this point. They resigned the game because they couldn't face all white's threat anymore. Question for black resigns. Yeah, it's too early, of course. Don't do this yourself. Always play on. There is always a best move, but it's not bishop c5, right? Yeah, here is winning for exactly rook takes e5 and knight e6. Oh, I see what you mean, Titan. Yeah, Shankland resigned the draw on endgame, right? Some fortress some time ago, if that's what you mean. Bishop e7 is more resilient, but still white wins the exchange. Somebody said this in the chat, that white would win the exchange, and they were right. Aha, knight c7, Gordon, you got it. Exactly. So this is just over. Unfortunately, I cannot defend here properly. I will lose the knight. So let's see if we can come back and see where could black have saved the game then. I think it was, let's see if I can find it. It was around here. Yeah, this is where they lose the game. When they took the pawn, that's where they lost the game. That was too much. I think I said that they had no other alternative, but I was wrong. They definitely have a better move here. This is the losing mistake. It's interesting now. We're saying that we should not be so materialistic. Definitely not. Taking this pawn, they made them lose the game. So how could they have saved the game then? Yeah, exactly. Queen d4. But still, they would have to walk a very, very narrow path. And that's why I was saying to you guys that e takes d5 would have been more healthy. Because if you want to save this position, you will have to play like a computer. So let's see if we can do that. Queen d4. White will play here queen f3, right? I don't have this angle anymore, unfortunately. So black's next move is not difficult. Rook c8, of course, Sui. You can guess white's next move also. Yeah, bringing the people to the party. Rook d1, of course. Now black can take the pawn. Please notice that we cannot perform our queenside attack anymore. Bishop f4, that's right. And all black's moves here are actually only moves. So where to put that queen, anyone? Queen f5, of course. We need some kind of tension here. We should put it on the light square. We should not put it on f6 because, of course, because then they can get this for free. That cannot be for black. So yeah, queen f5. Anyone? What should white play now? I have g5 in the pocket, no? Don't forget that I have this move prepared. g4, of course. Knight e4, interesting. Yeah, I don't know exactly what would happen. Maybe I can just play bishop e7 here, actually, and pretend that I can castle next turn. Not sure if this works, though, but yeah. g4 is better to play right now because we keep some other options with the knight. Don't forget that this is one of our key ideas here, to bring the knight to c7. We're still attacking on the queen side. Queen g6, only move. If you go to f6 instead, I think knight b5 is very strong. So here there is a difference. If we go to g6 and after knight b5, anyone, what must black play here? What about queen a5? Oh, what about queen a5? If you go to a5 instead, I guess I play rook c1 and I put my knight somewhere, right? I put my knight somewhere. Is that so? Well, I can't really tell. Oh, queen d3. Oh, of course. Good thinking by Sui Random. Queen d3. That's a killing move, right? That's the reason why the queen stays on g6 then. If you go this way, you could of course play rook d8, but then I guess white will play queen e4. No? We're very happy to trade rooks, right? So that must be the reason. Yeah, thanks, Sui. Thanks. Queen g6, only move. White plays knight b5. Now, only move with black. Anyone? Exactly, Gordon. This one is easy to find by the method of elimination. No, else there is knight c7. So we have to play e5. All right. White's best move here. Anyone? Rook e1. Interesting. But it goes against logics. No, you already committed this rook. So yeah, it's better, Sui, to bring in the other rook. If you play rook e1, yeah, I'm not sure what would happen. Maybe I can just play bishop e7 and I castle, no? I give away something to secure development. So rook c1 is more threatening, of course. So I think this is what, if it was Kebabs who said that, human-wise, this will be winning for white. Because you have to play like a computer to save black here. So anyone, would you like to try to save black here? Me? Yeah, but you just shoot. Tell me the moves. Tell me the moves. What would you play? E takes f4. Yeah, if you play e takes f4, I think this is going to be extremely dangerous. I will take on f4. I'm now threatening knight c5. Knight c7, sorry. Oh, bishop c7. Knight check. Or maybe the other check. No, the other check is nicer. No, this check is nicer. I think. Because if you take, I take back. And before I take your knight, I'll give check, right? I hope everybody understands what I'm saying. I'll take like this. And before I take this guy, I should make sure to give check, right? I would give check on e3 maybe. Yeah, this must be painstaking for black, right? I don't think black can survive this. King e7. Not, yeah, you mean one move earlier. Yeah, exactly. So you have to play king e7 there. So that's it. That's basically one of the computer's variations. And now it was saying that this was the best move. But I stopped here. I stopped here. Because I just thought it was, yeah, king e8, you can go back. I just thought it was unplayable for black. This maybe you can play a pretty move here. Anyone? Pawn move maybe. Pawn move. Can you think of a pawn move with white? Like Mikhail Tal, exactly. Yeah, b4. I think this is right. That's right, Kevin. I think that's a good move. You can see Mikhail Tal's idea here, right? We have a pretty mate coming up here. So probably the computer can find some way to avoid this, right? The computer can save this with black. I don't know how, but there should be some solution. But h5, yeah, maybe h5. And I will take and I will threaten to take the change, right? Or something. So maybe you can save this. Yeah, maybe you can save this. Congratulations if you can save this. But it looks very, very difficult. Rook takes e5 instead of b4. Oh, you can take like that. Interesting. I see Sui random says this. And I guess your plan is to go check and just cash in here or what? Yeah, this looks very good for white, of course. This looks very good because in the end, they are playing without this rook. King e7, I think I can just give check with the rook, right? Yeah, if you can save this, it's very suspicious. Yeah, you could also say that. Okay, maybe I made a mistake. Yeah, the human made a mistake. King d7, of course. You're right, tactical. Yeah, I made a mistake here. I should play some other check here. Queen. Yeah, what would I play then? Well, this was Sui Random's variation. Queen e3. Oh, okay, you know all the answers. Yeah, good for you. Queen e3. I didn't see that. Sorry. I didn't see this move. You're right. I understand. Queen e6, you have knight takes c7. Yeah, of course. Pretty. This looks like Fischer's. I see what you're going for here, Sui. Something like this and some brilliant mate like that, right? Yeah, nice. Nice work by Sui Random. That's a nice variation. Yeah, here I think white is winning now. Or did we miss something? Here white should be winning, as far as I can see. Unless you can see some fantastic salvation for black, but I don't think so. Yeah. King f8, king e8. Okay, if you believe in that, you should believe in Santa Claus also. If you believe you can save this. Rook e1, rook there. Oh, you want to play king d8. Yeah, if you can save this, it would just be... Oh, Santa Real, yeah. I don't know. It's fantastic if black could save this. Knight, anyone. Knight 96 is on the menu, of course. King d7. Yeah, should be many ways to win this. But, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Wow, so many options here. What if the computer said that you could play h3 here? Well, I'm just kidding. But sometimes it does that, right? It says like simple moves like that. 96 probably winning, yeah. And who knows what happens here. Yeah, I don't know. King d7 and... yeah, no idea really. Knight takes, king takes. I don't want him to escape on that side. Knight b5, and if I go back, knight b5 and I go back. Yeah, I don't follow this variation anymore. What do you want to play now? Rook e1, and if I go back, yeah, let me know when I'm mated. Oh, queen d5, I'm mated now. Yeah, okay, nice variation. Yeah, congratulations, so random. You have solved this mystery. So this is actually losing for black, I think, or at least very dangerous for black. But there is a better variation for black. Here, after knight b5. Here I think it is. After e5, rook c1, you will have to find another computer move here. So we are looking at this and we're saying that it's far too dangerous for black, like that, right? But there is like a very narrow path to save the game here. Anyone? f5, that's a pretty move by Tactical Magician. I don't know if that works though. I like it. I like the move for sure. Some kind of crazy counterattack. Yeah, could you make that work? Maybe. What would white play? The computer didn't say it, so I guess there is some kind of flaw to it. But I can't say it myself. Should I just move the bishop, or should I maybe take? But if I take, you can trade queens. Yeah, not sure about that. Should I take and go for the endgame maybe? No, I can't do that, no? Or can I do that? Yeah, I can probably do that, tactical, no? I can play knight check here, I think. Beware, it's a human analyzing now. So yeah, I can see the move, so random. Yeah, congratulations. Yeah, I hope you're not using a computer now when you're in this class. I hope you're not using an engine, because that's making no sense. No, the point is that we use our head to try to find the moves and so on. This is what I think, Tactical Magician. This would be the problem here. This would be the problem I can take on c6 next turn, right? So I think I have refuted you here, Tactical. I'm not sure, of course. So yeah, the right move is the one that Sui Random is saying. Queen e6, that's the only correct move here. That's the only correct move. So if you can find this, congratulations. If you can find this in the game, good for you. The Norwegian player could not find this variation. And it's still kind of complex. Anyone, what do you think White would play here? 96, interesting. But you give me a chance to castle, right? Tactical, maybe. Or no. 96, bishop takes, rook takes. Or maybe I can play like this, right? Take and play king e7, and I'm still like in the battle, I think, here. Aha. So, anyone else? Any other move? Rook takes. Wow. I don't know. Can you really play that? I don't think so. I'm sorry. That's just too brilliant. Who is playing, by the way? Tactical Magician is moving the pieces here. King e7. I can escape this way, right? Tactical. You have few pieces left here. So, yeah. Okay, it's not that difficult to move regarding the things that we have seen earlier here, right? Try to open up the game, please. Try to open up the game. Of course, tactical. Bishop takes e5. We have been here before. If you take with the queen, then for sure it's game over, but we can take with the knight, right? So this is what the computer is saying, that we could play something like this. And yeah. Anyone try to find White's pretty combination here? Not the winning combination, but it's what they should play here to stay alive. All right. Knight c7. Of course, L. Yeah, L, please go ahead. I feel like I'm moving the pieces too much, so we should invite L008 to take over. Please go ahead, L. What will happen next? That's right. But black is not lost here. It's time for giving back material. We should play queen c8 here, I think. And I take back. So this is where you go. This is where you get, so to speak. This is what you get. Aha, we take and we get this kind of endgame. Exactly. This is the 0-0-0 variation, Sarthak. So if anyone can get here with the black pieces in the game over the board, fantastic. But I think it's not easy at all, because you have so many other choices where you can go wrong and so on. So this is basically the critical position. If you believe you can find a way up to this point with black, and you have to save this game also. It's not that simple, no? White can play for like take this pawn and try to queen the pawn and so on. If you can do this, yeah, good for you. But I would say that if I'm in the game situation here, if I'm playing this position, let me see if I can find it again. We had this position, right? I would say that this is a critical moment. For most humans, taking on d5 will lead to a lot of trouble. Well, if you're playing this way instead, like Kebabs was explaining, that is some plan with, like, for example, bringing knight to e6. You get some kind of different inferiority. You're a little worse maybe, but it's not that difficult to play black, right? But in the game, they went all in. And here, when they took the pawn, they are just beyond salvation. They have to play this very complex variation with rook here. And how did it go? Something like this. I'm trying to remember myself here, repeating all the moves. G4, you have to play queen G6. Somebody told us, Sue Random, I think, told us that this was a threat, and so on. This is the way in which you can save the game with black, but you would basically have to be like a computer to find all these moves. Queen E6 and so on. So that's not easy for everyone. Aha. So White is doing well. Yeah, I agree. White is doing well also there in the very end. So very quickly, recap of this game. We saw this trade set up with black. They're going for trade on a6. The computer actually doesn't dislike it, but it's not so easy for the human to play. We were saying that maybe at this point queen d7 was an interesting move to threaten knight takes e5, try to bring about endgame, some kind of endgame here. But okay, they played in this way instead. We got up to this position. You can see that all White's moves are very natural in this game. No, they played in a very natural way. Sethuraman is not trying to like refute black's opening experiment. He's just playing normal moves, and that would be my recommendation also. Knight c6. So theoretically speaking, black is okay here, but it's very difficult to find the remaining moves. And they immediately made a big mistake, and white punished them on the queen side. Actually, this part of the game was not that difficult, right? We just said that this was very important to play this first, because else black would have a chance to play queen a5. So we have to do some calculation also. We can not just play all the moves by intuition, right? We have to do some, we have to choose some moves, no, candidate moves and so on. However, had black played instead e takes d5, they would have somehow a simpler task. If knight c3, for example, this interesting idea of trading and castling, and yeah, you have a completely different game, right? So that's basically what this game was about. I had some other game prepared, but I think time is already, it's a little too late for that. I hope you found this game interesting. Should I set up some position here for next time? Let's see if I can do that. Yeah, I think I will take it from here. So thanks, guys. That's it for today. I think next time we will do some strategy instead. All right, we will look at some strategical topics and so on. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Thanks to Chess Dojo, to Chessable, to USCS, Greg Shahadi.